Hello everybody and thank you for joining me. This is Ciara from Ciara T Designs and today I have my May bullet journal spreads to share with you. So let's jump right in. So as usual, I am working in my Hemlock and Oak journal. I always have that link down below if you want to check them out. They're a Canadian company. So if you're Canadian, they are made in Canada and they're based in Vancouver, which I thought was really cool. So that's why I grabbed this journal specifically. And I'm starting by doing my calendar / cover page. I kind of merged the two of them together just because I think that that's kind of fun. And I like to do my calendar 6x6. I don't know why I decided to do it like this. I experimented a lot with my calendar last year when I was working in my bullet journal, and this just seemed to be the one that I liked the most. So I kind of just end up going back to it all the time, and I just alternate what side of the page has the most days of the week on it. So one always has 5 days, and then the other side has 2. And I find this calendar is actually large enough for me to be able to write small, stuff inside of it. So I have an appointment, or I can easily see in a glance what's going on in the month. So that's kind of why I aimed at this size. And of course, if you guys have been with me for any of these other bullet journal pages setups, I like to do the most artistic stuff on the cover page. I tend to make my journal very useful, I guess is the right word. I'm not sure what the word is there. I tend to make it where it's very organizational based and not so much decoration necessarily outside of the cover page. That one I kind of go all out. I throw everything I possibly can at it. It ends up being very decorated and I love that. I think that it's super, super fun. So that's kind of what I end up doing. So I grabbed out 2 pieces of pattern paper. These have been in my stash a very long time. I want to say 2 years now. And when you get a set of pattern papers, you get quite a few papers in them. And I haven't used them all yet. So for this setup, I kind of ended up going whimsical spring is kind of where I went. I don't know why we went that direction. That's just kind of how it ended up going. So I kind of pulled random things that I really wanted to work with. So this happens to be a Craft-A-Clock paper. It's called Spring Charm. Like I said, I'm pretty much positive it came out at least 2 years ago. And I'm going to use the cut-aparts from it as well. And then most of the other stuff in this setup is either from my sticker shop or Anna's sticker shop. Or I guess stationery shop would be a better word for that. You're going to see her collection quite a bit through this setup. I also unboxed it in my most recent vlog, which should be up for this video. I say that as a question mark because sometimes it takes me a long time to get vlogs up. So bear with me. It should be up first. It may not be. But in that vlog, I unbox Anna's whole spring collection. So you'll be able to take a look at that if that's of interest to you. But so I cut down 2 pieces of paper to fit the size that I needed. And then I kind of ripped them just because I like that, kind of ripped edge. I think it's really neat. It looks kind of fun and just adds a little bit of texture to the design. And that's something that I enjoy. But I did cut them across the center of the page because this cardstock is kind of heavy, and if I don't cut it, I end up having a hard time closing my journal. And my journal is already starting to get fairly bulky, so I'm trying to be aware of that and not go too crazy on the thick layers for stuff. I mean, it's still my journal. I'm going to add whatever the heck I want to add to it, but I'm trying to be a little bit mindful of it. So then I'm going to bring in some of my stickers. This is my mini days of the week. I guess I called it weekdays, same thing. And I think this is so fun for the calendar header because there's different ways it's written out. So depending on what size you like to do your calendar, hopefully there's a size that suits. And I like these kind of scripty letters. And then this is a new product I'm trialing. So these are actually clear. I haven't done clear stickers yet. And I really wanted to try them. This is also a brand new color palette that I'm working with. I'm developing some new color palettes to go in my stickers. Currently, I've done, all the rainbow colors, and now I'm kind of working through some other color palettes that I think would be a lot of fun, like a teal ombre. This one I named Hydrangea just because looking at these colors makes me think of those flowers. So that's what I named it. So I have some floral color palettes coming out. I have, some teal, some other fun colors, but I thought this one just screamed spring. So I'm just working on developing new products and new stickers for my shop. My goal is to have 50 listings in my shop by the end of the year, and currently I have 23. So we'll see how that goes, but that's my goal, and I am slowly getting there. So it's trial and error and working on new products. And I have a bunch of new products in the works too. So this is going to be interesting. But this is, the numbers that come with the days of the week sheet. And I will show those off again when we get into the weekly spreads. And now this is a beautiful washi tape from Anna's shop. It's flippin' stunning. And I just thought it kind of matched the background really well. And it's just florals. Like I just happen to love florals very, very much. You guys know this if you've been with me for any length of time. Florals and butterflies are kind of my go-to pieces. So if I can use butterflies, I will. On every single thing. So there's already butterflies in this journal from different months. I'm going to add more to this month. And then these hot air balloons, they were in the cut aparts and I loved them so much that I had to bust them out and use them here. There's only a very few in the cut aparts and I cut this. Like I said, I cut these out 2 years ago, but I never used them. So this became the perfect time to use them. And of course, I also have Anna's PET tape now. She has them individually cut, and I am crazy excited about that. If you guys have worked with any, big washi tapes that have individual designs or PET tapes in this instance, having the images individually cut is huge. It's so, so useful and so great. So I am ridiculously excited about that. So I used all the hot air balloons and then I busted out as many butterflies as I could fit on the spread without it kind of being weird. And like I said, this is it's so whimsical. I don't know. I just picked out pieces that made me smile. Honestly, that was the only criteria for this cover, is that I found pieces that made me happy, that made me smile, that I really enjoyed. And then it went down on the page. That was, and I look at it and it just makes me smile every time I see this spread. So I'm really excited to work in it in May. Obviously, that's not for a little while. Well, it's not. It's funny because I record really far in advance. So I'm editing this. It's the 12th. I don't think this video goes up for another 12 days. So keep in mind, if I get a little confused about the time frame, it's just because I work on all of my videos in the beginning of the month so that I'm free to work on other stuff. So because of that, my time might be kind of weird. I apologize. And then on my sticker sheets, because I try to pack them as full as humanly possible, I add these little sparkles in the areas just around them, and pretty much all of my sheets come with sparkles. The only exception is the alphabet sheets, and that's only because I stuff that with as many alphabet letters as I can fit. So you're going to see my alphabet stickers here in a little bit when we get into the next spread. But I love sparkles and I love to add them to everything. So I did pull out all my sparkles and in different sizes, because depending on the sheet, I will give different sizes so that you get a whole bunch of variation if you buy more than one sheet. So I've been having so much fun. And of course, if I'm going to put butterflies in my spread, I'm going to add some gems. I can't help myself. And I have had people ask if it makes writing in the journal difficult. Yes, but still worth it, in my opinion. If you want your journal to be flatter than mine, don't add embellishments like I'm doing. The pattern paper already makes it a little bit difficult to write, but honestly, I don't care. I'm just having so much fun creating this and then having, a blast playing with it. So it's one of those things where you just got to do what makes you happy. And the bullet journal is 100% for me. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where sometimes you're creating stuff for yourself. This is one of those things. I sometimes make cards knowing what I think people will enjoy. And so I tend to do that, right? I'll be like, oh, I know people would love a happy birthday card set, say. So I will create that. but it's not necessarily for me. It's more so I can show a certain tutorial that I think people will enjoy. This journal is 100% for me. So I get to do whatever the heck I want in it and not really consider what other people would want to see, because at the end of the day, your bullet journal is 100% for you. So though I hope people get inspiration from my spreads, it's really, very personal as to what is useful to you. So I don't know. That's just my little spiel on the bullet journal, but I have so much fun with this. So this is my meals, content, and tasks spread. And if you guys have been through any of my other bullet journals, you'll know that I've been doing this spread now for a while, and I find it incredibly useful for me. I do a weekly shop. That's now that I work from home predominantly, I've kind of taken that over because Chris used to do all of the grocery shopping. That's my husband. And, because he still does the majority of the cooking, but I found it to be a lot easier to, break down the meals during the week. So say I want to buy like a head of lettuce, and I'll pick like maybe 2 or 3 meals that will have the lettuce in them, and I'll break them out through the week so that we use the food that we're buying. Because groceries aren't the least expensive thing that we have now, and I like to be very aware of using what we purchase. So the meals one is on the left hand side, so I write out every day of the month, and then I break down our meal plan for the week. And it's not diet based, it's more vegetable based, so that I make sure we use them and we don't have to toss them away. And then the other side of the page, I have my content. So all of my YouTube videos will get written there so that I can have a look at them in advance, so that I can have everything recorded in like the first week or 2 of the month, leaving me room to, kind of focus on other projects for the rest of the month. So that's kind of how I plan it out. And then the bottom one is tasks, and that's just anything I want to get done within the month. So right now, a lot of the tasks I have written on there, excuse my head there, guys, sorry, are, designing certain things for my shop, that kind of stuff. Also working on that journal that I'm building for custom order and, that kind of thing. And then like stuff that I need to be aware of. So like I'm doing a market later this year. So if there's any specific product I want to work on for the market, I need to think about that in advance, because I don't want to be trying to make that kind of stuff at the end. Now this is a geometric pattern that I used to set up the journal back in the beginning. So I think I set it up in December, and I just love how it looks. So every once in a while I just bust it out for this page because I think it's super fun. But sometimes my pen skips and I make mistakes. So I bust out my little white gel pen and go over it, because at least this journal is actually white. My last journal had cream colored pages. So it was really difficult to kind of cover up mistakes if you'd made any, because I didn't have any cream colored pens that were the right shade. So you couldn't kind of just go in and touch something up super easily. You had to, either cut out a different page and cover it up or something like that. So I'm really loving having a white journal. I found it makes fixing my mistakes a lot easier. And then of course I like to go in and, put a piece, colored line on each second line of whatever the box happens to be. I find this, first of all, easier for me to see the lines on the page so I can write nicely. And it just adds a pop of color on a page, because like I said, outside of my first page, my cover page / calendar, I don't put a lot of decoration in the journal. So because of that, there's not much on the page if you don't have this kind of pop of color. And of course, we're going to go into more of Anna's stuff here. I busted out a couple of her smaller washi tapes. You guys, if you like stationery items, stickers, washi tapes, that kind of stuff, check out her shop, because her art is phenomenal. I'll link her YouTube channel as well, so you guys can go and check that out. Like she's so inspirational. I just am in awe of her art, and she's an incredibly kind person as well. I have had the extraordinary chance to have conversations with her about, having a channel and having a shop, and she's just an incredibly kind person. So head over there, check out her YouTube channel, check out her shop if you're at all interested, because she's just very, very kind, very, very talented. And it's one of those things, right? I want to support fellow artists. So wherever I can, I want to make sure I do. So this happens to be one of those alphabet sticker sheets I was just talking about. This is my purple version from my rainbow colors. it has no sparkles on it, as you can see. And I also am going to run out of teas, which made me a little bit sad. So of course I had to go and steal another one from my collection because I didn't have enough teas to finish my content word. But I've been having a blast with these alphabet sticker sheets. I like to use them in my bullet journal, of course. And then I also like to use them on pen pal letters. I find it really fun to like write out the person's name for my pen pal letter in these stickers. And I don't know, it just adds a little bit of pop of color on the page. So I've just been having loads of fun being creative, ultimately, is what it kind of comes down to. And then I did grab this sticker sheet. This is also from Anna's shop. This is all her spring collection. I went ham with her spring collection. I was having so much fun. And then that is that spread. So now this spread is a bit lackluster, but I promise that it is kind of neat. I started this spread in my April bullet journal, and it's just like a doodle page is what I'm using it for. You could use it for multiple things. You could, I don't know, anything you want to really chart out, you could do. I'm going to turn the page into 30 squares, which I know May has 31 days, but it's easier to break the boxes down into 30, and then I'll just decide which one I want to cut in half or however I want to do it so that I can doodle every day. One of my goals this year is to draw consistently, and I'm struggling to do it. So I kind of thought this was a fun way just to bring pencil to paper or pen to paper and just have it be a very low pressure way to do something kind of fun. So I will be showing you guys my April one at the end of April and, into May. Because obviously right now, like I said, this is April 12th, so I'm still working in my journal, but I will get the chance to show it to you guys at the end, probably in my Facebook group, actually probably on Instagram and Facebook. So if you're not following me on one of those and you want to check that out, make sure that you go follow me. I would greatly appreciate that. I am, trying to grow all my things, because I am trying to make this an actual career for this year, but that's the focus. I'm working on all the things. And then we're going to jump into my weeklies. Now, I am a very consistent person. I like my weeklies to look the same. So I know there are lots of people who do their weeklies different every week, but for me personally, I like the month to all look the same. So that's what I end up doing. I'm not going to show you every week. There are only 4 weeks in the May setup for me because I did I started off the month back in April because more of the days fell in April than in May. So this is going to be 4 weeks instead of 5. So you'll see this month start on the 4th instead of the 1st. So just so that kind of makes sense. And I do my calendar starting on Sundays. That is because, first of all, I'm Canadian, so my calendar starts on Sundays anyway. That's just how we do. And second of all, my husband's days off are actually Sundays and Mondays. So because I am now working full-time for myself, I choose to take the same 2 days off of a week. So starting the week on a Sunday, keeping Sunday and Monday together means that my weekend still stays together. So that's incredibly useful for me personally. And it just works with how the calendar falls for me as a Canadian. So but of course, like I said, bullet journal is for you. It's to service you. So if you want to start your week on a Monday, I know that a lot of people in Europe do, and different countries. I think it's mostly just North America that starts it on the Sunday. But it can be anything and everything you want it to be. That is its whole purpose. So I am going to bring in that purple Tombow marker again and just line every second line so that it's easier again for me to write on. And I won't show you every one of them. I'm trying to be better about editing repetitive stuff out so that you guys don't have to watch me do the same thing over and over. I think that I get better every video that I do, but it does take me a little time to be like, okay, like you guys don't need to see this. We've done this already. It's okay. And then not do it again. So if you ever have any constructive criticism for me, please let me know. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. I do know some people say I talk too fast. I apologize for that. There's not much I can do. I get excited and then I realize that, I probably talked too quickly. You can slow a video down though. So, and that does slow the audio down as well. So if that's ever a concern for you, or if you have a question, leave it in the comments. I do read and respond to every comment made. So if you ever have a question for me, please ask. I'm more than happy to help or to answer the question. Like I'd love to have a conversation about anything creative you want to talk about. I'm always there. And then for my decoration on these pages, like I said, it's going to be fairly minimal. I'm just going to put the washi tape that again came from Anna's spring box in these kind of long rectangles that line up with my writing area. And just because I think that's kind of fun. So she has 3 washi tapes, thin washi tapes that came out in this collection. And I'm going to use one on each page, repeating the floral one because, well, it's florals and that just excites me. And I have it just go over the edge a little bit so that I can have the super clean edge when I bring in my X-Acto. Just be really careful with your craft knife. It's not an X-Acto knife, I guess it's a craft knife. Be really careful. I have a fair amount of experience using them, so I'm not really concerned. But if you're new to knives like this, please be careful. You should actually put a cutting mat underneath, but I'm being really light-handed here and just cutting the washi tape. I think I did cut one page a touch when I was first doing this because I pushed a little bit too hard. It doesn't need much pressure. Washi tape is incredibly thin. Washi tape is something I want to bring to my shop later this year because, why not? I'm so excited. I have so many plans. I don't know how realistic some of those plans are, but I have so many plans. And then these are a new sticker sheet for me. These are the numbers. This is in that hydrangea colors way again, like I said. And this happens to be, you get 5 weeks of numbers in different colors. So this would easily service, multiple months if you wanted to use them like that. So I found that with my weekly stickers, you get one set of numbers, but I needed 2 per month because I wanted one for the calendar at the front and then another for the weeklies. So I just found that, a larger number sheet made sense to me. So this is one of those things, like as I go, I learn what's more useful and then I kind of make that product. So this is one of those things that, I'm learning as I go and I'm having a blast doing it. This is in that new colorway again. This is on a clear sticker sheet. This is the first time I've really tried clear. I liked it outside of the light colors are really, really light, which makes sense because they're, on a clear background. So completely makes sense. I don't know how I feel about it. It's interesting. And I think that in certain circumstances, it would be super useful. But I'm not sure. I don't know. You guys tell me if you have any thoughts on sticker sheets. Do you like ones that are clear? I mean, I could, do the clear ones with darker stickers. You can in person tell the difference between the colors, but they do seem just a touch washed out. I mean, and again, for obvious reasons, they're on a clear background. And they're going over top of my white paper with my purple marker on it. So it does kind of skew the color a little bit, but I think that's kind of neat. I don't know. Like I said, I'm going back and forth. It's one of those things that I'm kind of just going back and forth. And of course, I also have, this is the sticker sheet that started it all. Not this one specifically. It was the script version, but I wanted weekday stickers. And this is the first sticker sheet that I started designing, and I did rip Friday. It's fine. Like on rare occasion, I rip a sticker. It's really rare, but it does happen because sometimes I get a bit aggressive and I just yank on the sticker and it doesn't like that. So yeah, kind of funny. And then again, I went back in with these stunning swans that Anna drew. Beautiful. So I figured I would just use them in the tasks section of my week because I can just write around them. So I was just having a lot of fun trying to use some of the stickers. And I also brought in these like hanging vine stickers she has in there as well, just for a touch more decoration because I figured why not, right? Like I have them. I would love to, have them on the page more. So that's kind of all of the decoration I really had there though. But I'm so excited with how this turned out. It is beautiful. I love it so much. I can't wait to start using it. And it's funny because every time I finish a month, I'm like, this is my favorite month. And then we do the next month and I'm like, this is my favorite month. Oh boy. I don't know. They're all my favorite, I guess. But this one is very purple heavy. And you guys, if you've been with me for a minute, know purple is ultimately my favorite color, though I'm also very drawn to pink and teal. It just kind of happens that way, but... So that is the video I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll leave me a like, leave me a comment, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. I do new videos every Monday and Thursday, and I do have a goal of trying to hit 15,000. I can't seem to get past 13,500. Maybe I have by this point. Like I said, I shoot everything in advance, so maybe I finally got over that hurdle, but I am struggling. So make sure you leave me a hot air balloon or a sparkle in your comment so that I know you made it all the way to the end of the video. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye bye for now.